Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone, and we are continuing to talk cricket because sports business and media executive Jason Harper is in Jamaica producing a documentary celebrating and chronicling the career of one of the country's best ever cricketers, Christopher Henry Gayle. Harper, also a former tournament director of the Canada Global T20 League, has been instrumental in the development of cricket in Canada, which has seen the sport become the fastest growing one in the country. Harper now joins us live on set. Jason, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. I've known you for so many years now. And great to have you in Jamaica.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure how much you want to talk about the Chris Gayle film and the documentary, but what triggered that? And we know that Chris is one of the most popular players globally, but what triggered this desire to have his life chronicled in this way?
Good evening, Lance. Great question. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other in a long time. But in 2021, we were talking to Chris coming out of the pandemic, and that was the last World Cup for him, I think. And we're just talking through a long format, accurate account of history for him. And he wanted to do it. So we explored how the structure could be, what the storyline could, the story arc could be. And then we've just been going around the globe trying to find interviews on behalf of Chris, and happy to report that what we've done so far is it's going to set records, because Chris has made such an impact on the game that all of the stars of global cricket today, past and present, want to talk about him and his impact. And we've been able to nail some things down, and in the next few months and weeks you'll be hearing more. But from Virat Kohli all the way through, we've been able to capture some interviews and really capture those moments for Chris, not just on the field, but off the field too. Yes. You'll see parts of Chris Gayle that are very complex and new to some people, and we'll understand him a bit more. But I think for our heroes, it is important that we capture these accurate accounts of history for the future generations. I think that was the genesis of it, because Chris wanted to lead.
Yeah. You keep saying we. Can you talk to us about your production company and you know, what do you do actually in Canada? You're based there.
So in the documentary space, it's a 100% Caribbean crew. It's a crew of people who worked together while living in the Cayman Islands. I lived there for 7 years. And so we built relationships there. And during the pandemic, we reconnected. And this story was the one that we wanted to tell. And we went down through that arc. They've now shifted to Australia. So they were able to get access to people like Brendan Nash, who we haven't seen in a really long time.
Brendan Nash?
Yeah, Brendan Nash makes an appearance in the documentary. So lots to look forward to. We've been able to really capture those stories.
Yeah, talk to us quickly, though, about, before we talk about your Canadian experience and the fact that the sport is growing phenomenally, not only in Canada, but in the USA as well. We see Johnny Grave now has an appointment with US cricket. Can you speak quickly on the impact that a Chris Gayle would have had in Canada? Because I know you work with a marketing group now, which won a Clio Award because of a piece that you had done with the Toronto Blue Jays baseball team, and just getting a cricket angle to it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So, and I don't think we really talked about what we did together. A lot of the Canadian corporations into major leagues are trying to reach cricket fans, because cricket fans are infiltrating North American life on the daily. So in 2023, the Toronto Blue Jays, who are clients of our agency, wanted to reach cricket fans, and they wanted a celebrity to help them introduce themselves to particularly Afro-Caribbean audiences and South Asian audiences based in Toronto.
Which is very huge right now.
Which is huge, right? And immigration continues to trend in that direction. So Chris was the one that they wanted to work for. Not only did we sell out the entire night, on a dead night for the Toronto Blue Jays, it's returned, it's generated net new revenue for the team. It's going into its third game this year. Presented sponsor on the night. So it's a new revenue, new opportunity, new audiences that we were able to unlock in Toronto.
And can you talk quickly about the award that
the Clio Award is a global marketing award. We actually won for the strategy. We won a bronze medal for global strategy, coming up against McDonald's and Heineken and some of the other major brands. Chris Gayle and a guy from Barbados doing these things in Toronto. So it was really interesting and fun for us to do that together.
Yeah. Chris Deering has been on this show quite a few times, and he has talked substantially about the growth of the game and pointing to the fact that maybe here in the West Indies, and he was speaking specifically of Jamaica as well, Jamaica having not made a bid for World Cup T20 last year, that there are things happening in T20 cricket globally at the moment that the Americans and the Canadians are tapping into, which maybe the West Indian authorities are underestimating?
I think they explored a little bit when India came to Florida and played against the West Indies a few years ago, and that ran its course. But in Canada, particularly where I am, and you saw the World Cup success in the United States last year,
yes,
in 2024, and the growth, and with the cricket being in the Olympics in 2028, it makes sense, right? So it's a sport that a lot of the corporations involved in the Olympics and involved in sport want to understand. So it would be smart for Cricket West Indies to also explore those opportunities. Don't be surprised if they happen sooner rather than later, because I'm also talking to Chris on the opportunities available to them.
Yeah, and Johnny Grave, having spent so much time in the Caribbean as an administrator, how well do you think he's fitting into the US system and their plans to upgrade their game there or sensitize the American public to cricket?
He has a challenge on his hands. I've been having some conversations with him. But John, if anybody's equipped for that job, it's him. He has to stabilize that organization. MLC is on a trajectory to grow. It's the iconic event for cricket in North America, this side of the world. Yeah. He rights the ship, gets the right sponsors, gets the right broadcast deal. In the North American context, he has all the tools and the ownership group around him to do well. So won't be surprised if Johnny really soars in that role and maintains the relationship and builds on the relationship with Cricket West Indies that he left with Mr. Daring. And we see where it takes it. It's ripe for great commercial success, more competitions for players, young players. So I urge young cricketers in the Caribbean, don't shift. It's coming. The corporations and the broadcasters are waking up to the possibilities that cricket presents. They're a little bit slow sometimes, but it's coming. For sure.
Jason, when you were a broadcaster, Chris Gayle was sort of at the high point of his career. Now, as I said, you now reside in Canada, so you're outside of the West Indies, geographically, West Indies cricket region. But from afar, what are your thoughts on the administration of West Indies cricket, the quality of West Indies cricket, compared to, like when you were following more closely when you were living in Barbados in the early 2000s and so on?
I'll be honest, putting me on the spot, but I'll be honest. So for 2 years, I sat on the Cricket West Indies commercial committee. So I was still involved in the administration and understanding what was happening. Yes. It's a lot of work. It'll take a lot of lifting, but strategically where they're going, I can see the path. And they've rolled out the welcome mat, re-engaging with fans, trying to reconnect through content. It's going to get better, but it's not going to be a silver bullet. The administration is really doing its best, I think, to try to shift people's perceptions and, more importantly, the performances of the team. You'll see these giant decisions with Darren taking over all formats, shifting captains, and so on. I think it'll take time, but there's still some areas for improvement. And under Mr. Daring and President Shallow, Dr. Shallow, give us some time. You'll see the shift happen.
Yeah, Daring was on the show earlier this week, and he spoke pretty enthusiastically about the structure of West Indies cricket administration at the moment, and suggested in his own way that people underestimate the volume of work that is being put into
it's very complex.
trying to resuscitate West Indies cricket. Of course, we discussed the issue of commercial difficulties for the West Indies, having nowhere near the resources of India, Australia, or England, and that being a hurdle that stands in their way. But he suggested that is not something that we can focus on, because that's not something, given our financial status, that's gonna change. Yeah. So we've got to find other avenues to build and grow the game and grow quality players.
I see it as a unique opportunity, though. Even though it's a challenge for cricket in the Caribbean, the opportunity lies in thinking differently, approaching the problems openly, being transparent with how we can solve them. And there's best-in-class talent that was born in the Caribbean that they can lean into. Not just myself, there's tons of us who are competing on the global levels every single day who are willing to lean in and help. But I believe that once the strategy is laid out and it's clear, repetition, it'll change over time. The game has shifted. We just got left behind a little bit from the commercials, from performance. If we start doing the right things, we'll start to see the right results. If we continue to do, what's the definition of insanity? You're doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Yeah. I think that's what we got trapped into. Yeah. But with new leadership, feels fresh, feels a little bit different now under this leadership. So we give it a try. It means a lot to us, not just you guys here in the Caribbean, but us in North America. We were talking about it in 2016 when Carlos Brathwaite hit those 4 sixes. I took a drive down to Scarborough in Toronto just to get a feel, and West Indian people were hovering, and they were still talking about it in bars and barbershops. Your fans are still there. The diaspora still supports you. We just need to see a shift in performances, shift in decision making, and it'll go.
Yeah. Do you think Chris Daring will succeed in his job?
I think so. Based on my conversations with him, his approach, his pedigree, man. Like, Chris took us through 2007 World Cup, which was a giant challenge. If he got through that, I don't think Cricket West Indies is as complex, but it will require all hands on deck approach. The media, the commercial partners in the Caribbean, the Players Association, all of us pulling in the same direction for excellence. The underlying piece has to be excellence. It can't be average. If we go after the excellence piece, like your profession, excellent in your profession for as long as you've been, I think we will be fine.
Yeah. Quickly before you go, Jason, your Chris Gayle documentary, how far is it from completion?
That's a good question.
And I gather that it's become so expansive that it might actually turn out to be like a 5-part series.
Yes, yeah, we're there. And again, you go down the road thinking that you know the answers, and sometimes the answer just appears. It's expansive, it's long, but if you binge watched Last Dance, Michael Jordan's documentary series, you must binge watch Chris Gayle's documentary series, because there's nuance to it, there's emotion to it, there's reasoning, there's explanation, there's humor, there's aggression, there's anger, we cover the whole gamut of it. So what we figured out, what we started was on a journey for a full-length documentary. We'll tell the story. We just kept probing and poking and probing, and we realized that we're closer to an episodic series of several episodes, 5 or more.
Yeah. Will you capture, well, I'm sure you will, but I just want to put this on the table, because when Chris Gayle started his international career, he was this quiet, unassuming kind of person.
We captured that.
Almost an introvert.
Yes.
And midway through his career, and even in retirement, he's become this extrovert, this dance-loving person, this outgoing person that is completely different from the one we saw when he just started playing.
And we cover that. We cover how that shift happened, and was it really a shift? Chris is a really complex character, so it's not necessarily all the dancing and the fun and the entertainment that you see. We get to the nuts and bolts of that. It's really compelling television. To your point about completion, it's movie making, so you're part of it. Lance is making an appearance in the show. Won't give too much away.
Just an interview.
Just an interview, but he's not playing. I think you'll get to see some things, and as a region, we'll be proud of one of our boys.
Yes.
I think that's ideally what we're getting to. Because we want to tell that story meaningfully, that generation 2, 3, 4 has something to reach for on streaming online and say, hey, this guy was one of us, and he was a definition of excellence.
Without revealing too much, can I ask
I've given you way too much already.
Already? So maybe I shouldn't ask you this, but I'll put this on the table anyway, because there was a point at which Chris had developed a heart problem.
Yes.
And he had to have surgery.
Yes.
And sometimes I wonder if that experience may have triggered something different inside of him that almost made him become outwardly a different person.
You're good, man. I've seen why you've mastered this. You have to watch the documentary series. We cover that too. So, Lance has not seen anything, but he's such a good journalist. He's asking probing questions.
Yeah.
And yes, it has something to do with how he shifted. It was almost, he went through that near-death experience. It was a very serious experience. But it made him make a decision to just be full of life, and we've seen that, and he's expressed it in his game and so on. So hopefully this is the first of many that we get to tell as a group. We're really keen, and it's been fun, challenging. Yeah. It's building a business case, getting investment, going into the private equity market to get investment, looking at returns on investment, distribution. telling the story, filming it, it's a process.
Yeah.
And it's taken several years coming out of the pandemic.
Yes.
But just want the kids to know that you can tell our stories too, and
Yeah.
we can be successful doing so.
Jason Harper, we're proud of the project that you're on here, because I think it's something that is missing from Caribbean journalism, where we don't tell deep enough stories about our stars.
Yeah.
And I think when we see this Chris Gayle documentary, when it comes out, it will trigger a lot of feeling and a lot of drive among our media executives to start doing more of these things. But Jason, great to have you in Jamaica. Great to see you once again.
Always.
Youngster. And
one day we'll tell the story of how we met. And Lance saved my life, guys. So this is a great guy. He's more than just Lance Whitaker to me. I'm saying this on his show. I'm giving him his flowers because I don't know where I'll see him next. Thank you.
All right, Jason Harper, thank you very much. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.